Welcome to the CrossFit Hershey Open Update Show, brought to you this week by Kramer Funeral Homes.
Maybe feeling a little dead after all these workouts, your body's beat up, you're wondering if you're 6 feet under. Luckily, we have a solution, all right? And our title sponsor tonight, Kramer Funeral Homes, best in the business, all right? Their long-term reviews are just great. They're offering 21.3% off your casket purchase if you need it this week.
Yeah. So as you're feeling that fatigue after the workout, feeling a little dead, perfect option. Check out Kramer Funeral Homes.
I personally
for all
love
your
the cherry wood finish from my own, that they gave me. Hashtag influencer.
For all your death needs. Moving on, the workout this week, 21.3 and 21.4, a little curveball there. Let's go over what the workout is. So we'll just start with 21.3. Tell them what it is, Richard.
All right, guys. 21.3 is against a 15-minute time cap. All right, for time though. 15 front squats at 95-65 for RX. We'll go over the other stuff in a bit. 30 toes to bar and 15 thrusters. You'll rest 1 mandatory minute from completion, and then you'll do another round of 15 front squats, now 30 chest to bar pull-ups, and 15 thrusters to finish out at that same barbell weight. 1 more mandatory minute rest, and then 15 front squats, 30 bar muscle-ups for RX, and 15 more thrusters. At the completion of that, 21.4 will start, and that is a 7-minute time cap too.
A 7-minute time cap for a deadlift, a complex, barbell complex of a deadlift,
Piece, yep.
a clean, a hang clean, and a jerk.
Yep. So if you finish in, let's say 14 minutes, right? 7 minutes, you go till the 21-minute mark to attempt that lift. So it's all together. It's one thing. So let's break it down.
Yeah, and if you're one of those athletes who finish super early, then it starts right away.
Yep.
You don't get rewarded for finishing early and getting that rest.
Whenever you're done,
starts right when you're done.
You lift.
So this week we have a special guest. It's Coach Paige. Hey. Welcome. We want to know your first thoughts on these workouts.
Yeah, first thought is that's a good amount of gymnastics and not really any place to hide.
Nope.
So just going to want to break up those reps however you need to do it for you so that you can keep breathing as much as you can and keep it moving.
Yeah. Any parts that really stand out to you as far as kind of where people should look to pace early? Like, do you think, depending on how far you're going to get, what are you thinking as far as kind of that approach to the first 2 parts in particular, right? Where you have that little rest, but not nearly enough to recover.
Yeah, I think what's going to be key in those gymnastics pieces is just doing manageable sets that you can, let's say it's 5 toes to bar, jump down, jump up, 5 again. Even if you can do 30 toes to bar unbroken or 20 toes to bar unbroken, I would keep the sets small. I would keep myself breathing and keep the heart rate down.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Not going to failure early on because there's a lot of work to do. And it's going to require a lot of intensity to get it done. So, yeah, just being smart on the front end.
And that 1 minute is no rest.
No, that's not rest.
Yeah.
That's just to go back to your barbell.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the lift?
Yeah. The lift is going to be whatever grip you have left from all of that. And you're not
breaking might matter a lot.
You're gonna be breathing heavy after that workout if you finished it and rolling right into that lift. So you're not gonna get a lot of time, especially changing your own weights.
Yeah. We'll talk about some of those details and rules here because there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. The judges too. We're asking a lot of you tomorrow with times, with weight, all this stuff. So please watch here, and of course we're gonna explain it in class as well to make sure we get you guys set up for success and it's not stressful to judge. The workout itself should be the fun part, right? We want to make sure judging isn't too much too. So we'll go over all that stuff. Last, anything else? Anything?
If you had to hit it right now, if we were 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
What's your breakup strategy? If you didn't have any time to think about it right now, we're just 3, 2, 1, go. You're going to probably do all the 15 thrusters and front squats unbroken, right? And then how are you going to break the toes to bar, would you say, if you had to go right now?
Toes to bar, if I had to go right now, I would maybe sets of 10, but maybe not even. I might even do something more like an 8 to kind of get started and do it out like that, 8-7, 8-7.
Just to kind of keep the forearms from blowing up.
Just to keep that going. And then, especially on the chest to bar, I think you're going to have to do something really similar. And then down at the bar muscle ups, I'm thinking 10 sets of 3.
So a break before it breaks you strategy. So you have a lot of rest or a lot left for the lift. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Thank you, Coach Paige. Before we get into particulars, obviously Paige gave you some highlights of some things that she's thinking about. We'll dive into the standards. But before we do that, just a little bit of in-house things to say. For our in-house competition, a few notes. This week, you need to wear your CrossFit Hershey gear. So if you have CrossFit Hershey gear, that's going to get you an extra point if you wear it to the day where you test. So wear it to the day that you test, get that extra point for your team. Also, an extra point for your team would be a PR. And the acceptable PRs for this week, it is 21.4 is not PRable is what we've decided.
Yeah, it's a complex you've never done before. So it's kind of like the wall walk. Congratulations on the PR. Everybody gets one. But nobody gets one.
But there is still ample opportunity to potentially PR for you. So if you've never got a toes to bar before and you get your first toes to bar, that's a PR. If you've never got a chest to bar before, you get your first chest to bar, that's a PR. If you've never gotten a muscle up before, get your first muscle up, that's a PR. Maybe even we might accept, this will probably be something we have to talk about, I just thought of this, people stringing toes to bar together. Maybe they've never strung two together.
Yeah,
that's their first time stringing them together. Or same with chest to bar, same with muscle ups.
Yep.
So I don't know that you want to go for stringing your first muscle ups together in this particular workout. If you really want to, go for it. But
it's a good day.
But at the same time, we want you guys to get PRs. So shoot for it in those gymnastics movements. That's where you get the chance to kind of make your PRs in this particular workout.
And make sure you communicate that with your judge and or whoever is coaching, whether he be he or me, throughout the day.
Yeah, we want to mark your score sheets that you PR'd so that you get that point for your team that goes on the board. Also want to let you know that we're having a special opportunity this week only for you to get an extra point for your team in our Sugar Watt app. So if you go, Push Press app. If you go into Push Press and you have a profile picture, whether you either update your profile picture or if you already have a profile picture, you're safe. But you need to update your profile picture if you don't have one. You need to add a start date when you started at CrossFit Hershey. And you need to make sure your birthday's in there. If all three of those are done, then it doesn't mean you have to update them because maybe your account already has all three of those because you're on top of it. And then you automatically get a point if they already have it.
So double check.
Lots to think about. The best way to do that also is to go on a desktop and do it. The mobile app doesn't let you change your start date, I don't think, or doesn't allow you to add your start date. I don't know. All that stuff, that's just an opportunity for you to get an extra point for your team. So go out and try to do that. If you have questions, you can email Jenna.
Push Press.
Now, or Push Press. Support at pushpress.com. Yeah. They're having all these emails from us. They're like, what's going on? I'm trying to get this point. Okay, so movement standards. Let's talk about the movement standards for the workout. Well, we have just right out the gate the front squats. So obviously hitting squat depth, locking out at the top. What are some things we might see there for the movement standards?
Yeah, guys, it's going to be really important here. We're a little more friendly with it during just regular life. If it's a wall ball, it's your hip's not quite below parallel. It's a back squat set and you're not quite breaking it. But in the open, we need to make sure that hip crease is below our knee. All right, and what that means is if you were put like a marble right above your knee, it would roll to your hip, right? So it's a pretty easy analogy. If you're set up right above, that marble is rolling back down, right? And that's what we need. As judges, it's going to be really important to hold people to that. I know it's not fun to no-rep people. You can give them a warning, right? Like if they're right there, but they're not quite below, be like, hey, a little deeper next time. If they continually do not hip depth, you have to say no. Mm-hmm. Same thing is going to be true then overhead, right? Making sure that we're all the way through versus pressing out here. The barbell cannot be in front of our head, right? Again, some people, it's just a mobility thing, but we need you here in order to fully extend and count that thruster. Cool thing on the front squats, though, your hands can be like anyway. So cross, fingers.
You can be out like this. You can be zombie if you want.
Definitely don't be zombie.
I mean, there's no standard that your hands have to be on the bar.
Yeah.
And the reason that becomes a factor, and I think even one of the Panchik brothers did it this way, is because it does give your grip that relaxing. And I think there's value in starting that way just to, I mean, it's up to you, whatever you prefer, but there's definitely value in that.
Yeah, so that's the big one. Squat depth, full extension to the top, both for the front squat, obviously standing up, and then for the thruster overhead.
Yeah. Toes to bar?
Yep. Toes to bar, full extension at the bottom, and your toes start behind the bar, in line with the rig behind the bar. And then you must fully tap both feet together at the same time on the bar. It can be any part of the foot, but it has to tap together. Mm-hmm. And then full extension again at the bottom. For hanging knee raises, the knee must get above
90 degrees.
90 degrees, right? So we'll tuck up again. We'll make sure that looks good. For the chin bar pull-up, so hang knee raises and chin above are both in the scaled variations. Just making sure that we clear completely with the chin, right? So it's not like here. We need to be above and make sure, again, judges looking up, sometimes that's awkward. So make sure you're really keeping an eye out.
You know what? Before we keep going through the movements, we should probably share the scaled version of this real quick because we never did that. So let's go back to the top. Sorry. There's a lot for us to cover in this week. So the order of it might be a little bit all over the place. But just for those scaled athletes, what are the scaled movements if they're intimidated by some of those movements that we listed?
Yeah, so the setup's the same, right? 15 front squats, but now the barbell is 65-45, male, female, respectively. 30 hanging knee raises, which we just mentioned, right? Knees coming above parallel to the body. And then 15 thrusters with that same barbell. Another 15 front squats, 30 chin over bar pull-ups, and 15 thrusters. Rest the minute again between these parts. 15 front squats, now 30 chest to bar is your final scaled option, is the hardest pull, and then those 15 thrusters. Same time cap, and then the lift will be the same as well. So yeah, good point.
Yep.
Making sure that we're clear there as well.
Great. So chest to bar standards are that it needs to touch below. You need to make contact with the bar below your collarbone. So it needs to be below your collarbone.
Yep.
Yep. And obviously your chin has to be above. Your chin has to be above the bar too, I think, for that too, correct? Yeah. Muscle up, locking out and showing control at the top. I don't know what other standards are there for the muscle up. I mean, there are other standards, but I think most of us, we're going to meet them in the sense of like, there's not going to be gliding kips and stuff like that.
Clip, but that's not really an issue for anybody. I think, just you have to bend the elbow. You can't fully uprise. So you do have to pass through a dip in the press, but we all naturally do that.
For the complex one continuous movement, you can't rest in the middle of it. I mean, you can re-grip. You saw some of the athletes doing that, but you can't intentionally rest. You can't sit up here and rest, which is really important. I think I saw Easy kind of take a long break it was either Easy or one of the Panchik brothers that took a long break at the hip. Yeah. And I was like, are they going to get him? Are they going to get him? Just reading the standards, it says you can't rest. I think if you're just kind of re-gripping, you're okay. But you got to be, it's got to be continuous. Can't let go of that bar. So when we've been talking about hook gripping everything.
Yeah. We've been doing complexes, which should give you some confidence there.
Let me tell you the complex dates that we were. You keep sharing that. I'm going to pull up the picture that I got.
Making sure, like you mentioned, if you're going to rest the bar on yourself that long, it's not going to lead to good reps afterwards, So you should be able to confidently take a 2-3 second breath, re-grip, get back down to whatever the next position is and go. If that's not the case, I don't think the likelihood of successful is pretty low. So keep moving, stay aggressive. Again, the fast moves, right? It's clean as an explosive movement. The jerk, after all that time with the deadlift and all the other reps, really making sure you have the leg drive to get underneath it. That's going to be so important. I think if you're soft in the jerk, you're going to be really frustrated if you miss that and you've got the other lifts.
Yeah, and I think we have had a lot of experience recently with some clean complexes. So February 25th, we hit a 3-position clean of hang below the knee floor. So you would have a score for in Sugar WOD for February 25th, a score for February 17th, which is power clean, hang clean, and clean. We did a February 12th 2-position clean. We did a January 27th 2-position clean. We did a power clean, hang clean, clean on January 22nd. So if you just go into your Sugar WOD app and you type clean and just kind of look at your history of clean, you're going to see that. I mean, one of the negatives is we haven't necessarily been hitting a jerk after all of those. So that might be the limiter for you if you kind of know that number, kind of warming up, taking extra time to warm up the jerk to see kind of where you're at. I think you should be warming up. Obviously, us as coaches will let you know, but you should be warming up probably whatever your opening lift you're going to go for is, you should probably hit that before or something close to it before to just kind of feel that heavy weight even before. Is that what you would recommend, like hitting the opening lift?
Yeah, definitely hit
as a warm up
opener. Get a feel for it. Again, it's not going to feel quite as good when you come back to it after 21.3.
Yeah.
But I do think building the confidence, I have this no matter what, right? Because what you don't want to do is not end up with a score. So you need to have your first lift needs to be like, it's heavy-ish, but I know I have this. Like, this lift is going to happen. Second lift is you're like, all right, I'd be happy if this is my kind of maker. Again, you might have an extra 1 or 2 here, but like third or fourth lift, then or maybe middle 2. And then that last rep should be probably saved for your this is what I really want opportunity. And make sure that you're not disappointed if you miss like a heavy lift early and you made either too big a jump or you started too heavy and now you're kind of stuck. Those kind of things are all to consider because, again, the fatigue of the workout, it'll be a little different, honestly. Finishing the workout versus getting stuck in the workout will create some different kind of physical strain going into the lift. So that is a consideration, too. If you get to the end and you can't do muscle ups, but you did the rest RX and you have 4 minutes to kind of chill. That's very different than if somebody finishes the workout and then, or is working to the very end of it, regardless, whatever, and then has to go right to the barbell. That fatigue is very different. Like I know for myself, I'm going to probably sit there for 2 minutes before I do anything on a barbell.
Yeah. I mean, so for 21.4, my thinking is you should plan on 3 lifts, 3 solid, good lifts. You should, I think maybe if you're the type who comes right off the bar and just knows that first bar you can hit very confidently, it comes right off of, and it also matters a little bit here because some of you might get stopped at the muscle ups and you're actually going to be pretty well recovered and you can go right into lifting. Those of you might have 4 lifts, maybe even 5 if you're able. But the other factor here, these standards are a little bit interesting. And one of those standards is that your judge is not allowed to touch your barbell. And when I say that, I mean, if you throw a thruster from overhead and or you drop your clean and it goes rolling away, your judge can't go get your barbell for you. You're going to need to be very thinking about how you drop your barbell is important. But then also after the workout is over, how you load your barbell, you have to load it. So you need to have your weights planned out, laid out, and you should really be thinking about how you keep the weight on that you used for your thruster. In essence, building out from there instead of having to shed those weights off and start over. So if you're, for example, a male athlete and you can hit 185, throw those 45s on, hit it. If you are going to say 35s is, if I throw 35s on, I can hit it. That's the way I think to think about it, and then build from there.
Save yourself again, like easy on and off for plates. With the smaller heats, we have plenty of plates. If you really want to go death by 10s and you just want to keep adding stuff, fine. Today I don't care, right? Because it doesn't matter. We'll have plenty of weights. Whatever's easiest. Try to avoid taking things off as much as possible, unless it's a big jump. Let's say like you're putting on a 45 total. All right, fine. Like that's from a 25, that's necessary, but.
So another factor I would say, especially if
gotta have clips. Yeah,
gotta have clips, and the clips have to be on the outside. You can't be like in a hurry, throw the 5-pound plates on with the clips on the inside. That lift actually will not count. So you need to take the clips off each time you reload. 2 other factors here. One is going to be that you're going to really want to, I just lost my train of thought. 1 pound plate increments. We have the value of this gym having the micro plates here. I think one of the factors of the lift, many of us didn't think we'd see a max lift because some people are working out from home gyms. You have the value. And what I would say is, mentally speaking, if I ever know I'm going to go for a 1 rep max snatch, the first thing I throw on is the 1 pound plates, because then it's just like out of sight, out of mind. I load after that. I don't think about it. In this case, right as soon as you finish, if you want to throw on those 1 pound plates and then throw on 45s or 35s or whatever, just to get it out of your mind, in there, that's something to think about, or at the very least have them there, because if you hit, for example, 185, 225, some of these like very standard numbers, hitting 1 pound above that, which is the minimum requirement. You can't go a half a pound, you have to go a full pound. So 2 half-pound plates. And we have those, and coaches will show you where they're at. But if you can hit that, it will probably jump you on the leaderboard significantly from, for example, 225 to 226, 185 to 187 or 86. That can be a big jump.
Then, so if 70 people hit 225 and you get 226, you just moved up 70 spots on the leaderboard. So
so that to me is a big factor of like just thinking through. Okay, I gotta be mindful about that. The other factor is, this is a little bit different rules than our typical WOD, where if you have 7 minutes to complete that, and let's say you finish the workout, or let's say you get capped at 15, so you're looking at the clock, you can pull the barbell off the ground for your deadlift at 21:59, meaning 6 minutes and 59 seconds. And as long as that barbell comes off the ground for the deadlift before you're time capped, you have the time to finish the lift. So use that extra 10 seconds potentially, or 15 seconds. Like, don't go with 15 seconds left on the clock. Take that extra 10 seconds, get that heart rate down. Yeah, exactly. So make sure you're being mindful about your last lift too, maximizing the rest, because you have it. What else do you got to say?
Yeah, so a couple of my buddies did this. So just a couple, again, like kind of like what Paige mentioned for sure, but break early, be smart, again, limit grip fatigue, and make sure you're able to stay consistent on the barbell. All right, if the barbell's a limiter, which may be, we're all different, make sure you have a game plan there. Unbroken might not be doable, or then how are we breaking it up, right? The rest minute, again, it doesn't really mean much. It's mostly a reset, reframe your mind, get to the next part. Same thing on the pull-ups or chest to bars, right? Making sure that you break before you have to, because that's going to get stuff. Even though it's only one set, going through a bunch of singles or doubles when maybe you could have held 4s or 5s if you didn't do 10 to start, might be a costly mistake. And depending again on your muscle up capacity, just not, at that point you've already done 75 reps on the barbell and 60 gymnastic movements. So even if you're great at muscle ups, those first couple might feel good, but it might not be worth that extra kind of slow, hard rep or that chicken wing to then struggle through singles, right? Where if you would have done 2 or 3 less, maybe then your sets would have continued better. So I just think that's the key here. It's a lot of work, and we also have to hit that lift at the end. We want to make sure we have success in both areas. So knowing yourself and your capacity, but regardless of that, having a break plan. I don't know anybody who's going to do this unbroken. Yeah,
definitely the strategy is to break before it breaks you 100%. If you're the type of athlete who takes your shirt off, I would say this is a workout to keep your shirt on for the thrusters, like just the dip, but then also you're going to have to go in, like you saw Easy put his shirt back on for the weightlifting portion. It's just not worth it, I don't think. I mean, if you want to take your shirt off, take it off, and then you're going to want to put it back on for the complex at the very least. When I think of equipment that could be of assistance for this, I think of knee sleeves, I think of grips, I think of belt, I think of shoes, your lifters potentially. I mean, landing off the bar kind of sucks in lifters. So that's up to you if you want to do it for the thruster, front squat portion, but you might want to change shoes in between if that's you. Chalk, keep the chalk close by for a workout like this. I mean, we're going to have chalk. Richard's getting pumped about it. For this one, you're going to need a lot of chalk.
I will also be chalked up to the gills to hit on that bar.
You said wrist wraps? Yeah, definitely wrist wraps.
Play around with your grips too. Make sure that they're fitting well. Because tearing your hands early in this would be a pretty unhappy event.
Tape your thumbs.
Yep, tape your thumbs. This is the day for all the equipment.
Bring it all out. Bring the whole gym bag out.
Weight stuff. You need a jump rope to we're going to need bars, weights, knee sleeves, everything. We need everything. So don't be afraid. Belts. So this is the day for a belt.
Yep,
for sure.
definitely have a belt.
Be fatigued. I will be belted to the brim.
Yeah. So the only thing I think left to go over, we talked a lot. There's probably a lot we missed, I'm sure. But we do want to take a moment to talk about judging standards, because for a lot of you, you're new to judging, and there's a lot of kind of complications. I wouldn't say complications, but I would just say compared to the previous weeks being very simple things to judge, there's a little more complication here, including the fact that the judge doesn't just have to judge reps and standards like previously, and the standards for these can be a little harder to judge, but then also you have to be mindful of a clock as a judge. So as soon as they finish that, you're writing that tie break time like we've been doing, which is going to help you, and then you'll add a minute to that, but you have to give your athlete like a 3-2-1 go for when they come back. Exactly. So you have to be really engaged as a judge, more so than previous weeks. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like in any way that we can give a little bit of guidance.
Yeah, so like you said, right, like the tie break is the end of every set of thrusters. So it's also, of course, the rest, beginning of the rest for each thing as well. So you need to mark the end of each set of thrusters if they finish, or 1 set, 2 set, whatever, right? That's number one. You also, of course, need to be enforcing the standards we talked about in the movements, but if they do finish the workout prior to the 15-minute time cap, let's say somebody finishes in 13:47. Well, now you need to add 7 minutes. I made that way too easy. It's all good. But the point stands, all right? You need to add 7 minutes. My brain's like, well, do one you can say and not be stupid. Add 7 minutes to that. It's on you again, So it can't be like, I think they were done at 12:40. No, they were done at 12:47, which means at 19:47 their lift is over, right? I got that one.
That was good. And then also so let's say I'm an athlete, you're judging me, and we're just gonna say I'm gonna crush this. I finished the first portion at 1:30, Scott Panchik did, or whatever it was. Then it's on you to be looking at the clock as the judge and to tell me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I can ask as an athlete, I could be like, what time am I going, Richard? And you would tell me 2:30. Because I'm going to go, and I have to go back under the bar. There's a whole standard we'll talk about tomorrow to where there's an 8-foot portion that's going to be taped off. You have to go back under the pull-up bar, run out to your bar again each time. For each one, it's this weird thing they have now where you have a line and all this stuff. We'll talk about it, but you have to go back to there. You'll probably be chalking your hands up. getting back, in that position. And then you're going to look at your judge, and your judge is going to give you that 3, 2, 1, go while they're looking at the clock. If you're a judge and you're trying to have a conversation with someone else, or you're looking at someone else's lift, you need to be very focused as a judge for this, because you lose that time. You forget to tell the athlete to go.
Yeah, it's hard to get it back.
You're not going to get it back. Exactly. So just be mindful that as a judge this week, we're not trying to put a ton of pressure on you, but there's a little more emphasis on you this week. And then once they finish that next portion, you have another time that you have to log, and another 3, 2, 1, go. And then that last portion, you're going to log that time, and like you said, add 7 minutes. So there's just a lot of counting here. So
setting yourself up to both judge the athlete and ideally see the clock. That way it's not like you can kind of have both at least in your peripheral.
Yep. That's good.
Yeah, guys.
As far as other strategies, the only thing I would say from a strategy standpoint is, I think every athlete should be really trying to go unbroken on the front squats and thrusters. Yeah. If you get to the thrusters and you get to rep 10 or 11 and you're doing that slow fighting to get through it, drop it, shake it out, and then get that little pop back that you need. But and I would also say, I don't think there's value for any of our athletes to be pulling the bar back down on the thruster.
If you watch the demo, they did that, right? But they went unbroken through the first 2 parts anyway, right? I think unless you absolutely are going to annihilate this, that extra bit of effort that saves about 0.3 seconds off a rep, which is great if you're one of the best in the world, does not pay off when you're halfway through this and you're breathing like a pregnant dragon, and you just possibly. I don't know. That's why I pictured this really large belly dragon just breathing fire.
A pregnant dragon. Yeah. You just had to do that because you knew, what? Justin doesn't have enough graphic options for this. He's got to get a pregnant dragon in here blowing fire.
Yeah. So, but just being mindful, right, of our capacity. And if you do break it, quick breaks, stay on the bar or the barbell, either way.
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to have fun with this. It's different from the last couple weeks. So, I know a lot of you love to lift as much as I do. So I'm excited to see you guys throw down. We practiced this. He gave those numbers of when we did those dates, rather. So let's crush it, guys. Last week, wear your CrossFit Hershey gear, sign on to push press, or ask Jenna about it. And what, did we miss anything?
And get a PR. PRs. Come in confident that you're going to get your first toe to bar, you're going to get your first pull up, you're going to get your first muscle up.
The Open is so good for that. In all seriousness, right? There will be thousands of people across the world getting their first something this week. So be a part of it.
Yeah.
And if you got a bunch already, just do them really fast.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for the CrossFit Hershey Open Update show. Explanation.
No. I was going to say extraordinary show. What's the extravaganza?
Extravaganza.
Cut that back.
Pregnant dragon.
My friends and colleagues, I have sent my dearest apologies to the pregnant dragon community for my careless thoughts. I should have, put some thought into what I was saying. I didn't consider the feelings of an entire population. And for that, I'm really sorry. I'm going to take some time off from this show. You will not see me next week in the Open. I will take a sabbatical and learn more about pregnant dragon. Is there a foundation I can donate to? I'm sorry.